It's still Journalist Hangout if you just joined us. I'm still here with BKO, Babajide Koladio Titoju, and Mojid Jamiu. Let's get back to the conversation. In a week-long operation, the Operation Whirlwind Task Force team of the Nigerian Customs Service has seized 20,100 litres of petrol valued at 18 million naira. The strategic breakthrough made across key flashpoints in Ogun State is the outcome of vigilance and precision of the task force in curbing the illicit activities of smugglers in the region. Now, speaking at a press briefing, the coordinator of the Operation Whirlwind team in Zone A, Exit, Hussaini Ejubunu, commended his officers for their unwavering commitment. In addition to the seized petroleum products, 5 vehicles used in conveying them were impounded during the operation. Now let's share the story by TVC News Ifunaya Eze with you.
The coordinator of the Joint Border Patrol Team, Southwest Zone Lagos, Mohammed Shuaibu, credited intelligence and collaborative efforts for the successful confiscation of 4,019 jerrycans of premium motor spirit seized across various locations.
Through intelligence, and some of them will get on the creeks, some of them in on top of the water, then some of them in concealed vehicle, and then this is not possible without intensive patrolling. This will not be possible without intensive patrol, because if you have the intelligence and you've not gone out for it, you can't make the arrest. Deputy Controller Shuaibu also revealed that smugglers continue to employ dubious methods, such as the smuggling of over 2,600 bags of foreign parboiled rice. Also intercepted were hundreds of bales of second-hand clothing, cartons of codeine syrup, as well as large quantities of pangolin shells and cannabis sativa. In all, the seized goods are valued at over 1.38 billion naira. They use every means. Because you can think of rice coming from an engine of a vehicle, or coming from a boot of a vehicle, coming from a spare tire of a vehicle. So these are methods they adopt. And they do, apart from even that, that's what they call the first size, 4 Boston and whatever. You can imagine creating an additional body in a vehicle in order to beat officers. And we thank God we are always ready for them. In a further boost to government revenue, the team recovered over 26 million naira through debit notes issued on improperly imported goods. The more we do the anti-smuggling activities, by blockage, by whatever method, or by whatever instant loss we apply, it's making us to realize more revenue. And that's the reason for the swelling of our revenue day in, day out. So we are still on top of the game. We are going to be doing what we know how to do best. So if the smugglers are not relenting, we are also not relenting. And we are going to follow them up to where they are. With the approach of the final quarter of 2024, the Joint Border Patrol Team says it will continue to intensify its efforts to tackle the growing desperation of smugglers and ensure national security. Ifunanya Eze, TVC News, Lagos.
Customs doing what they know how to do best. If the smugglers are not relenting, customs are not relenting. Now, BKO, smuggling is a cancer that kills the economy. Yes. Don't you agree?
Yes, no doubt about that. Where people need to pay duty on imported goods, and they simply want to use the unofficial border posts to come into the country, that's denying the country revenue.
True.
I've seen tremendous work being done under the current leadership of the customs, led by Bashir Adewale Adeniyi. We can see what value there is to putting not just the right person in a position of authority, but someone who had passed through the mill. Because the last Controller General that we had was not a customs officer. Now more revenue is coming in. Look at the confidence with which Controller Ejibunu spoke, that we are busting these guys and revenue is swelling. So everybody is jumping in within the customs. They are happy with the leader that they have. Okay. It's one of them, and he was the longest serving spokesperson for the customs before he became Controller General of Customs. And you can see the breakthroughs being made, arms all at different times, smuggling of petrol being addressed. The rate at which petrol is being smuggled in Nigeria today, I don't think I've ever heard of petrol being smuggled to that extent. And the reason is not far-fetched. Not only is petrol cheaper in Nigeria than it is in the countries that surround us.
Countries.
Yes. The value of our currency means that when you take petrol that you bought here, when you take it outside our country, you stand to make a lot more money than selling it here. Some of these guys are smuggling petrol through the waterways. In fact, it's not only in Ogun and Lagos area. You go to the south, those countries, those states, like Cross River, there is a lot of smuggling. They want to take it to Cameroon.
Cameroon, okay.
You go to the northeast, states like Adama.
Want to take it to Chad?
They want to take it to
Niger.
Cameroon.
Cameroon, okay. Adama to Cameroon. Okay.
Yes. If it's Borno State shares border with 3 different countries. It's a peculiar state. With Chad, Niger, and Cameroon. So Borno State is peculiar on that score. There's a lot of smuggling that is going on. Even cement.
Really?
Cement, yes. Cement as well as food. So there's a lot of work that the customs has to do, and I'm happy that they are up for it. Look at what they've displayed. Smuggled rice being brought into our country. They are catching them. They are familiar with the tricks that these boys use,
okay,
and they are beating them in their game. If you check, I said since the Naira went down in value, above 1,000 Naira to the dollar, there has been
a sudden increase,
a surge in smuggling of petroleum products, especially petrol.
Okay.
And the customs too, they've been very busy and they've been making a lot of breakthroughs. So I'm happy. I just hope that this can be sustained, because we're talking about, our consumption level is the so million of liters per day. A lot of who calculates how much goes to smuggling? Who calculates? They are not using big trucks anymore. They are using these jerrycans, 804 kegs of 25 liters each. That's a lot. But the guys are not relenting, and I'm happy to hear from the customs man that, well, if they will not relent, they won't give us peace, we too will not give them peace. It's the Yoruba adage that says, the baby that says, oh, my mother, I'm going to deny her sleep. There's no way he too will sleep, because as the baby is crying all through the night, the baby too will not sleep.
It's going to be vigil.
So,
all right,
they're too waiting.
Majid, smuggling on the rise. But really, why have we not embraced technology to tackle smuggling? Or is it not possible?
Well, it's possible, but then we have very porous borders. Very, very porous borders. I give kudos to CG Bashir Adeniyi for this main feat. But then we still need to get onto the big smugglers. I once had to do something around the Ogun border. There's a border town from Abeokuta to Imashayi, Igonkoto, Ayetoro, Ilaro, straight to Benin Republic. 33,000 liter tankers, you see them moving. Then you see motorcycles, specially designed, carrying between 12 and 20 bags. They have been reinforced. 20 bags of rice. You see them moving. I mean, in hundreds. That's basically what they do in that axis. They will be coming into town.
Not too, like
yes.
Asina, those border.
So you will see those motorcycles.
Is the matter too big for custom?
Well, I think
they need more personnel.
They need more personnel. Then they need to deploy technology. Like you said, if you use drones, you see further. You can see these guys. But then these guys they don't pass through the conventional routes. I mean, you can imagine 804 kegs. Well, you see some vehicles like a four-seater Toyota Corolla, for example. You will see the way it's been built, and you will know that. I mean, they will have almost like maybe 200, 300 capacity tank in that kind of vehicle. A vehicle that is not supposed to have more than 40 liter capacity tank or 50. You see them storing rice in some funny places, even in the engine of vehicles.
Okay.
So,
even under the seats.
Under the seats.
Later compartments.
Yes.
Look at solutions.
For rice.
Penalties. Should there be stiffer penalties for smugglers? Perhaps, death penalty or something.
But then, why I would not recommend death penalties? The ones that were sentenced to death, have governors found the lever to sign?
They have been on death row.
How can we have a situation in which about 3,000 people across our prisons are on death row? And the last time that a governor signed a death warrant was in 2016. It was Shomole. The governors we have now, they've not got the lever. A governor can order his political opponent killed, but to sign death warrant, no. He can tell his thugs to go and kill people, but he cannot find the courage to sign a death warrant after the judiciary has done its work. I mean, it's a crazy situation. I don't understand. The law is still there. And it says whoever takes a life will also have his own life taken. But if those who are supposed to sign death warrant refuse to sign, then those guys will simply be feeding off government
Perhaps
for the rest of their lives.
Lengthy jail sentence or life sentence maybe would help reduce this issue of...
But as long as the Constitution has not been amended, as far as our Constitution stands, the death penalty is firmly entrenched in the Constitution. So all it takes is find the courage to sign, the way Oshomole found the courage. Let's stop all this. What if we cannot come together to say, okay, in South Africa, for example, you go to life jail, no matter the offense. There's no death penalty.
Yeah, that's the maximum.
Life jail. That is what they've agreed to. Every society finds the right kind of laws depending on their environment.
Okay.
So if we still want death penalty, so be it. If we don't want it, then let the Constitution be amended so that the cowardice that governors are demonstrating, we know that, okay, we've taken care of the cowardice. If they cannot sign the death warrant, then what is it? What are they doing?
All right, BKO, let's move straight to our next story. Through effective interagency collaboration, security threats bedeviling Nigeria can be effectively tackled. In this regard, the Nigerian Army announced that its efforts in tackling crude oil theft in Niger Delta is yielding positive results as it commenced Tantita Security Services for the robust partnership towards curbing activities of oil thieves. The General Officer Commanding 6th Division of the Nigerian Army, Major General Jamal Abdul Salam, stated this while inaugurating the new transit accommodation reconstructed by Tantita Security Services. Now let's share the story by TVC Ikena Amici with you.
Crude oil theft is a major crime here in the Niger Delta region. The Nigerian Army, in partnership with a private security, Tantita Security Services, have been succeeding in apprehending these economic saboteurs. Today, to further strengthen the ties between them, the General Officer commanding 6th Division is here to inaugurate this transit accommodation reconstructed by Tantita Security Services.
The transit accommodation to the Commission today highlights the impactful discourse of corporate social responsibility and spirit of jointness. I therefore commend the efforts and contributions of Tantita Security Services Nigeria Limited in achieving this laudable project.
The Tantita Security Services came in what was formerly known as the Old Army Day Secondary School has now been transformed and remodeled into a modern soldiers transit accommodation.
This project has been a very interesting project. Any project that is worth supporting, that is going to become part of the development of this environment, must be pursued with vigor.
Inaugurating the project, the GOC identifies how it will boost the morale of his men who are in the forefront of curbing oil theft.
Tantita is an example of such cooperation. We have had very good working relationship with them, and we still have such relationship, and we continue to do that. And you can see this project is born out of that good relationship that we have enjoyed. Everywhere operations are ongoing, and from what we have seen, the oil output has increased.
For the private security outfit, it is just the beginning of more collaborations as he tasked others to support the army.
This is the least we can do. It is not enough. We are also going to seize this opportunity to ask others to look at projects like this.
The accommodation has bedrooms, kitchens and other facilities. Ikenna Ameji, TVC News, Efrun, Delta State.
All right, partnership of the Army with stakeholders like Tantita, you know, in the fight against oil theft. No, BK, tell me, do an assessment of this partnership between the Nigerian Army and Tantita, you know, in the fight against oil theft and increasing national oil production.
You see, it's not just with the Nigerian Army that they are non-state actors, but they brought them into the equation to help defeat these oil thieves. And when we, based on the facts available, no one can deny that our oil output has gone up. Even some of the worst haters of Bola Ahmed Tinubu, because I see somebody post that there is no achievement that has been recorded. And I say, and you say no achievement.
Just Google.
The man may not have met our expectations in 100 years, but you can't say no achievement has been recorded. Now, come on, except if you are an unreading person. Oil output has gone up. We need to go beyond. Even the OPEC declared that oil output has gone up to about 1.350. You know, there was a time when it was just 500. So we think that we can do 2.2 million barrels a day. The president has given Governor Hope Uzodinma, the Minister of State, Petroleum, Heineken Obri, the mandate go and ensure that our oil output goes up.
We meet our OPEC quota.
To by 2.2, because we've not been meeting our quota, and we have capacity. Even during the Jonathan era, we were doing over 2 million barrels a day. Now, that is possible. If Tantita, the Nigerian Navy, and the Nigerian Army, the Nigerian Air Force, because the Air Force has been involved in bombing the
some of the illegal oil sites.
They've been bombing them. But once they see these surface tanks where they put legally acquired crude oil, they bomb. They have been making life unbearable for them. We need the Air Force, we need the Army, we need the Navy to work with Tantita that has been hired to help boost oil production. This is not, there is no competition here in my view. As a Nigerian, I just want to see the trajectory. I want to see success demonstrated in impressive numbers. I'm not interested in...
But would they be willing to work together?
I think
the Nigerian Navy and Tantita?
It's not a big deal. If we put the country first, they will work together. You know, but sometimes the interest of the country may not necessarily be interest of individuals.
Okay.
So, but what we are saying is they need to work together. And what Tantita has done to build a shelter for the Nigerian Army so that those guys can have somewhere to rest their heads after I had this work.
Sure.
I think it's something that has to be commended.
Yeah, it goes a long way.
From the resources available to them, from what they get paid, you can see they've done their own corporate social responsibility.
Exactly.
Setting aside some of the money that they make from protecting our oil installations to invest in making that place a lot better. I look at the rooms. Who would not be happy with that? So we want to see greater oil output, but they must work together. There must be synergy between not just the armed forces in the South-South, where the oil-bearing communities of the South-South, but synergy with even non-state actors, like Tantita. That's what we want to see.
We go back to the issue of technology. Why have we not embraced technology to end crude oil theft?
Oh, it's not as if we've not embraced technology. What we can talk about is improve it. If you go to the naval headquarters in Abuja, you go to their situation room, they are able to monitor all the Nigerian waterways. In
real time?
Yes.
Yeah.
This is something that I saw.
Yeah.
And
they have that facility.
Even the creeks, they're able to monitor. So, but that is not enough. We can do much better than that. But it's not as if technology has not been employed. They have technology to monitor Nigerian waterways.
Okay.
Yes.
Even the NNPC has a facility that monitors leaking and burst pipelines.
But Majid, are you confident that the Nigerian security forces can end crude oil theft for good?
That's not a question I can give you a direct answer to. But then, if there's synergy, we can reduce it. But whether we can curb it totally,
reduce it drastically.
We can reduce it. But
so you're confident?
I'm confident that we can reduce it. Especially, this Tantita is a private security network that knows the creeks more than those. But then a synergy between them. Tantita has arrested several vessels stealing our crude oil in the past, and they hand over to either the Navy or the military, which later hand them over to the military police, and they are prosecuted. So there has been an increase in crude oil output since they came on board. But I think they are doing a good job, and this CSR that they have embarked on is a good one.
Okay. Thank you so much, Majid Jami. Thank you so much for having this conversation right here in the studio. And also,